Oh, okay. I was imagining a little differently, but hello, coffee cake. Welcome to my cozy, crazy, convicting, and cringy cafe. I'm Mocha, medium roast, barista, and host. And at Cafe Mocha, every ounce of our caffeinated ideas will brew up a latte fun with you all. Oh, I didn't even read that. Spring day 8, I think. The sun had been up for a few hours, promising a beautiful day, but I knew I wouldn't be able to appreciate it. Now, the rush of adrenaline from the news had passed. All I had left were doubts on the days to come, which were going to be exhilarating as much as terrifying. I was gambling my future along with Chaldea's, and that was a great deal. I had spent the past few hours readying myself and refining the details of my plan to appease my latent nervousness as best I could, but that didn't help me shake off my main preoccupation, the servants. Like Alden had said, I'd made a risky decision, and I've been torturing myself for hours, wondering if it was worth it. I feel like we would have had these same thoughts if I killed them off. I was tossing and turning when I heard a knock at the door. I leaped out of my bed and let Alden in. There, Your Grace. We have followed your orders. I hadn't seen that he was accompanied by the Master of Murmurs. Came in after him, and a slight discomfort washed over me, right? Like, why can't I see your eyes? I should be able to see your... What's this? Oh, okay, I think I'm jumping ahead. Like I do. His role inside the palace was vital. But since I was a child, I had been terrified of his hidden face and its mysterious aura that surrounded him. Nevertheless, my discomfort turned into amazement when I saw him remove his hood as if it were nothing and turn to face me. Oh, okay. I was imagining a little differently, but my brain had pictured the worst for years, and it was still very unsettling to finally be able to put a face to that man. I realized he wasn't as monstrous as I had imagined. In fact, I was shocked that it made me forget the reason for my visitor's presence, which seemed to greatly amuse the Master of Murmurs. Is there a problem, Your Grace? Oh, I didn't know that you can show your face. It's new. To be honest, I do what I want, but in principle, I only remove my hood in the presence of my sovereign and those close collaborators. Though I'd like to entertain the mystery and I never know how to say that word.
Anonymity.
Okay, the mystery that comes with the job. It would be far too dangerous for me never to reveal my face. Some people might use that to usurp my identity. I see. Though it was disconcerting, it was also rather reassuring to see that a man as important as the Master of Murmurs already acknowledged me as his sovereign. Alden cleared his throat to recall me to my duty, and I suddenly remembered the reason for the two men's presence, which immediately made my anxiety flare up. To keep myself from staring at the Master Spy, I faced the advisor and fully focused on him. Good job. Did everything go well? My anxiety must have been conspicuous, even if I was doing my best to put on a confident expression. The servants seemed convinced by your offer. They left the palace without complaining, so I suppose we can count that as a win. Despite all that, it's still a bit early to be sure of anything. I gave the Master of Murmurs and Alexander the task of keeping a close eye on the situation. The Master of Murmurs slowly nodded in assent. We'll know more tomorrow, but for the time being, there's nothing more to report. I feel like I should give him an accent. I lifted my eyes to meet my advisors and flashed Alden a reassuring smile. Clearly, he read my emotions better than I had thought, and I couldn't allow myself to visibly waver at such a critical time. I know that, and what's done is done. Now we must focus on the future. Bring the High Priest to the council room. I need to contact the Quadrator? Quadrator. Robert is a pious man. Are you sure it's a good idea to confide in him? Everyone likes to think that devout never lie, but one doesn't obtain a place like his without cheating a little. I admit that the idea of lying to him came to me for a fleeting moment, but to fool him would be a complex task, and I'll be needing his support when the time comes. The people put great stock in men of faith. Very well. Your Majesty, will that be all? Yes, thank you. We're really gonna trust in him if I don't know. You summoned me, Your Grace. Yes, thank you for coming, Robert. I gestured for him to sit down while I settled behind my father's imposing desk. Like I had predicted, my behavior made him lift a curious brow, but I pretended not to notice it. I won't beat around the bush. My father, the Emperor, died last night. Clearly, he had done a pretty good job at keeping that secret, since the shock on his face seemed genuine. What? But how? And why am I just learning about it now? I need to pray for his soul. Now he's gone. There's no... He's gone. I tried to appease him with a wave of my hand, inviting him to sit back down since he looked like he was about to get up. He was murdered. For the time being, we're keeping his death a secret so we can investigate without causing any sort of panic. It was the Master of Murmurs' idea. He's convinced he'll be able to find the assassin more easily this way. Was it his idea? That was my idea. Drowning in information, the high priest slumped into his chair and took in my half-truths while I assumed a saddened expression. It's truly a tragic situation. Keeping quiet and hiding my mourning is a very hard task for me. I know it's a lot to ask of you, but you need to keep this a secret. I want to do everything in my power to uncover the murderer, especially since I'm scared he can come after me. Once more, I was quite proud of the quivers in my voice, and my acting seemed to be effective since I saw a spark of compassion light in his eyes. I understand now why the general was guarding your door like a common soldier. With a closed expression on my face, I nodded, searching for the right words. The first and main reason I summoned you here is so that I can confide in you and ask you to pray for my departed father's soul. I just want to be clear that it's not how that works, y'all. Y'all have to, we accept Jesus Christ as Lord. When someone passes, unfortunately, there's no getting them back to the Lord. They have to do it while they're alive and breathing, and that's why it's so important to make that decision for yourselves. I know this is a game, did not mean to interrupt the game, but look at me, looking at y'all. Take time seriously while you have it. Of course, Your Majesty. I'll lock myself up in the great temple and dedicate myself to the task. My face still sad, I gave him a tight, grateful smile, but inside, I felt relieved. His prayers should keep him busy enough that he wouldn't be tempted to reveal everything. Now I could move forward on the true reason of his presence here. Before that, this saddens me, but I have another favor to ask of you. Of course, Your Grace. What is it? Well, Alden and I are afraid that all the upstarts across the kingdom will rush into the castle and try to usurp the throne as soon as my father's death is made public. In their greed, many forget that my line sits on the throne by the grace of the Four. So I would like to send a letter to the Quadrator and have him support my coronation as well as reaffirm my legitimacy. Once more, he stayed silent, and I tried to hide my worry behind a veil of sadness. I hated that my plans depended on a single person, but I didn't have a choice. Only kings and high priests could hope to quickly reach the ultimate leader of the cardinals, and I technically wasn't a queen yet. I understand. Yes, you're Magnus V's only legitimate child. The throne should be yours. That said, I don't know if the Quadrator will approve of those plans since you're a woman, and an unwed one at that. I felt my body tense up at his words, and it took all I had to conceal how irritated I was by this reminder. I knew I'd be told such things. I had mentally prepared myself for it, but obviously, it hadn't been enough. It's an issue. Yes, I'll do my best to find a fitting king quickly, but you'll agree that I cannot entrust my throne of Chaldea to just anyone. I have plenty of suitors, but I need some time to study each and every one of them. That's not something that can be done in just a couple of days or even weeks. In the meantime, you do need someone to lead the country and make sure it does not sink into chaos. And if a regent were to be appointed, I'm afraid he might refuse to give the throne back to me and my husband, which would lead the whole country to a bloodbath. No one wants to see another era of murderous plots, like during Magnus III's time. Magnus III's time, sorry. You're right. Your Grace, you cannot let such a tragedy befall us. I'll go write a letter to the Quadrator right away to express support for your coordination and explain our situation. Satisfied? I let out a sigh of relief. I thank you for your support. High Priest Robert, it means a lot to me. Swiftly, I opened one of the desk drawers and pulled out a thin sealed letter. While I was waiting for you, I humbly wrote a few words destined for the Quadrator. We've never met, and I hope this would help him to get me know me a little, as well as reassure him of my faith in the Four. I was thinking that perhaps you'd be so kind as to add it to your own correspondence. Once more, he seemed to be caught off guard, but he smiled instantly and enthusiastically. Of course, Your Majesty. It's a great idea. Relieved, I gave him the letter in question while thanking him once more for his support and his help in this unprecedented times. I only hoped that he didn't have the audacity to break the seal, because even if it did contain a few cliches of my virtues, the letter mostly made promises that he could actually motivate the Quadrator. Oh, this is what's in the letter. Okay. I knew that gold made the money go round, and I would promise a hefty donation to the great temple of the Four in Meridian. Knowing his taste for luxury, I knew it wouldn't be insensitive to a few more riches. Being true pious myself, I had been corresponding with an element scholars from Chaldea and Meridian, and by sheer luck, I've discovered that the two of them were con men. I was sure that should reveal their names, the Quadrator would see that my faith is sincere, and that I was happy to be of service of him in complete secrecy. I think I'm gonna go with the second one. Yes, money makes the world go around. I get it, but I feel like this is something I didn't have to do, and I chose to do it. It's less like a bribe. In the past, keeping my mouth shut and letting these charlatans, I need to up my vocab game, run free and had been quite hard to stomach. But Marjorie had taught me that it was important to play my cards in the right order. Today I can only thank her for advice, which would allow me to kill two birds with one stone. To play with a man as powerful as the Quadrator, and I wasn't talking about his possible connection to the gods. There's only one, y'all. I'm sorry. I gotta break the fourth wall every once in a while. But his actual worldly power was a risky move, but it was all worth it. The dice had been cast. I only hoped for things to go well and prepare the field for my conquest of the Chaldean nobility. Oh my gosh, I feel like I need some water and a dictionary.